over 60 and can't stay hard at night. Let me be blunt. The glass of plain water you've been drinking before bed could be destroying your erections, draining your confidence, and leaving you weak when you should be at your strongest. It sounds shocking. I know, but that healthy habit may be the very reason your nights are restless and your mornings leave you disappointed. I'm Dr. Amen's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping older men restore their vitality, their intimacy, and their erections. I've sat across from thousands of men in their 60s and 70s who felt defeated, only to watch them transform once they learned how to work with their bodies instead of against them. Here's the paradox. You've been told that water before bed is good for you. But the truth is, water can wake your bladder, dilute the minerals your body needs for blood flow, and interrupt thievery sleep cycles that fuel testosterone and nocturnal erections. And yet, by making one small change, swapping water for a different kind of drink, you can actually nourish your blood vessels, balance your hormones, and reactivate the natural erection cycle you thought was gone forever. Tonight, I'm going to show you 5 powerful drinks, each proven to support stronger erections after 60. These are natural, safe and simple, and they work with your body while you sleep. In just a moment, I'll reveal the first drink on the list. And once you hear how it works, you'll never look at your bedtime routine the same way again. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you never miss another tip on men's health and vitality. And I'd love your feedback. If you're ready to bring back stronger rock-solid erections, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 and let me know how I can improve these videos for you. Now let's begin with the very first drink that has helped countless men over 60 reclaim their strength in the bedroom. It may sound simple, but when you understand how it works inside your body, you'll see why it's far more powerful than that plain glass of water. Warm almond milk, unsweetened. 1 warm almond milk, unsweetened. I still remember one of my patients, a 67-year-old man named Robert, who came to me feeling embarrassed. He said, "Doc, I used to wake up hard every morning. Now I wake up 2-3 times a night to use the bathroom, and when I do get up, there's nothing left down there." His story is one I've heard countless times, and it always makes me pause because what he was describing wasn't just about erections. It was about losing a part of himself he thought he'd never get back. When I asked him about his nightly routine, he told me he drank a glass of cold water right before bed because he thought it was healthy. But that very water was overfilling his bladder, waking him at 2 in the morning and stealing his deep sleep. And here's the important part. It was in that deep sleep that his body should have been producing testosterone and sending strong pulses of blood flow into his penis, the natural nighttime erections that keep a man's tissue alive and strong. By waking up, he was cutting off that vital process. Instead, I told him to swap that water for a small cup of warm, unsweetened almond milk. At first he laughed. "Milk? You're telling me milk is going to help me stay hard?" I smiled and said, "Yes, but not just any milk. Almond milk. Because inside that cup is magnesium, one of the most powerful minerals for a man's blood vessels. Magnesium gently relaxes the smooth muscles that line the arteries, including the tiny vessels that feed your penis. When those muscles relax, blood flows in more easily, filling the chambers and creating the strong, rigid erections that every man wants to hold on to. Almond milk also carries tryptophan, an amino acid that quietly converts into serotonin and then into melatonin, the sleep hormone. Why is that important? Because when you sleep deeply, your body produces more testosterone. And testosterone is the master hormone behind your sexual power. Better sleep means stronger testosterone. Stronger testosterone means more consistent erections. And there's another benefit. Almond milk helps keep your blood sugar stable overnight. When you drink sweetened milk or sugary drinks before bed, your body releases insulin, then adrenaline and cortisol. These are stress hormones, and stress is the enemy of sexual performance. But unsweetened almond milk avoids those spikes, keeping your system calm so your body can focus on repair, recovery, and preparing you for the morning ahead. Robert made the switch. Within 1 week, he wasn't waking up nearly as often. Within 2 weeks, he told me something that made him smile like a young man again. "Doc, I woke up this morning with the hardest erection I've had in years. That's the power of replacing water with the right drink. It's not a pill, not a gimmick, but real nutrition working with your body, even after 60. And while almond milk is a remarkable start, it's only the first step. There's another warm, calming drink that has been used for centuries to relax the body, steady the nerves, and quietly bring back the kind of nighttime erections most men thought were gone for good. Let's talk about it next. 2 chamomile chamomile tea. I'll never forget a man in his early 70s named Frank who came into my office one afternoon. His words were heavy with frustration. He said, "Doc, my mind won't stop racing at night. I lie therein. The dark thinking about bills, about my health, about the years slipping by, and when I finally fall asleep, I wake up 2 hours later, soft and restless." I could see in his face that this wasn't only about sleep. It was about his confidence as a man. His erections had become weaker, and his nights were filled with worry instead of rest. What Frank was experiencing is something I see every day. Anxiety is one of the most silent killers of a man's ability to stay hard. The truth is, an anxious brain can strangle erections before they even begin. Because stress hormones like cortisol tighten blood vessels and block the natural release of nitric oxide, the every chemical your body needs to fill the penis with blood. Without calm, there can be no strength. That's when I told Frank about chamomile tea. At first, he looked at me with doubt. "Tea? Really? That's for relaxation, not for men like me." But that's where he was wrong. Chamomile tea holds a hidden power that most men over 60 don't realize. It contains a compound called apaginine, a natural plant chemical that binds to receptors in the brain, designed to slow your thoughts, steady your heart, and quiet your nervous system. Imagine your racing mind being gently guided into stillness, your blood vessels loosening, your muscles releasing tension. That's exactly what chamomile does. When a man drinks a warm cup of chamomile tea before bed, something begins to shift. His breathing slows, his shoulders drop. The mind that once buzzed with anxious chatter finally lets go, and as he drifts into deeper sleep, his body reclaims the natural cycles of testosterone production and nighttime erections. These erections are nature's training ground, keeping penile tissue oxygen-rich and flexible. Without them, the penis becomes less responsive over time. But with them, even after 60, erections stay firm and reliable. Frank decided to give chamomile tea a chance. Within days, he reported back with a voice that carried a little more hope. "Doc, I'm sleeping longer. I'm not waking up in panic anymore. And I don't know how to say this, but I've started waking up with strength again down there." He smiled, and for the first time in years he looked relieved. That's the beauty of chamomile. It's not just a soothing bedtime ritual. It's a quiet ally for a man's confidence, helping him silence the inner noise so his body can do what it was designed to do: produce deep, unbroken sleep, restore hormones, and bring back those powerful erections that keep him feeling alive. And while chamomile tea calms the mind and steadies the nerves, there's another drink that works in a completely different way. It feeds your body vital minerals, keeps your bladder from waking you, and ensures blood flow to your penis stays strong all night long. Let's talk about that one next. Warm coconut water 3. Warm coconut water. There was a gentleman I once worked with named Henry, a retired firefighter in his mid-60s. He carried himself with strength, but when he sat down across from me, his shoulders slumped and his voice lowered. "Doc," he admitted, "used to be the guy who never had a problem in the bedroom. Now I'm up 2 or 3 times a night to use the bathroom, and when I wake in the morning, my erections are gone. I feel like my body's betraying me." His story hit me deeply because I knew exactly what was happening, and I also knew the solution wasn't a pill. Henry was suffering from something so many men over 60 face: an overactive bladder that interrupts sleep and silently destroys sexual health. When you wake up at night, your body loses its natural rhythm of testosterone release and nighttime erections. And the cruel irony is that the very thing you drink to stay hydrated, plain water, often makes the problem worse. The bladder becomes irritated, the urge to go becomes stronger, and deep restorative sleep is lost. That's why I recommended something different. A small cup of warm coconut water in the evening. Henry looked at me with surprise. Coconut water? Isn't that for athletes? He asked. And I explained that while athletes use it for electrolytes, older men can use it for something even more important: steady circulation and better erections. Coconut water is naturally rich in potassium and magnesium, two minerals that calm the nerves, relax blood vessels, and prevent sudden contractions of the bladder. Instead of sending frantic signals to the brain that jolt you awake, coconut water keeps the bladder quiet through the night. But it does more than that. The minerals in coconut water also support the smooth muscles of the penis itself. Erection chapen. When those muscles relax and allow blood to surge inside. Without potassium and magnesium, those muscles stay tense and blood can't fully enter. Over time, this leads to weaker, shorter-lasting erections. By sipping warm coconut water, you give your body the minerals it needs to keep those pathways open. Henry took my advice. He warmed a small glass, just 4 hours, and drank it an hour before bed. A week later, he called my office, and I could hear the relief in his voice. Doc, I slept almost straight through the night for the first time in years. And when I woke up this morning, well, let's just say I felt like my old self again. For him, that wasn't just about sleep. It was about reclaiming his manhood, his confidence, and the spark he thought was gone forever. Coconut water is gentle, natural, and powerful. It hydrates without overwhelming, nourishes without overstimulating, and allows your body to stay in the deep sleep that builds testosterone and preserves strong erections. And while this simple drink keeps the bladder calm and the blood flowing smoothly, there's another golden remedy that not only quiets the body, but also lowers stress hormones and strengthens the very lining of your blood vessels. That one has been used for centuries, and it might be the key you've been missing. Let me show you next. 4. Golden milk, turmeric plus golden milk. Turmeric plus black pepper in warm milk. Black pepper in warm milk. There was a man named Charles, 71 years old, who came to see me after years of frustration. He told me that his erections had become weaker with every passing year. And even when he did manage to stay hard, he couldn't maintain it long enough to satisfy his wife. He said, "Doc, I don't feel like the man I used to be. I don't want a prescription. I just want my body to work again." His eyes carried that mix of embarrassment and hope I've seen in so many men. That's when I introduced him to an ancient remedy, something men in the East have used for centuries, but most men in America overlook. Golden milk. Golden milk is a simple blend of warm milk, turmeric, and a pinch of black pepper. It may sound like just another bedtime drink, but its power runs deeper. Turmeric contains curcumin, a compound proven to fight inflammation and restore balance in the body. As menage, their blood vessels become inflamed and stiff, which is one of the leading reasons erections lose their strength. When blood can't flow freely, the penis simply can't stay hard. Curcumin works inside the lining of those vessels, calming inflammation, restoring flexibility, and allowing more blood to rush where it's needed most. But curcumin does more than open blood vessels. It also helps regulate testosterone response. Many men don't realize how much stress hormones like cortisol sabotage erections. Cortisol blocks testosterone, constricts arteries, and keeps the body on high alert when it should be relaxed and receptive. By lowering cortisol, golden milk allows testosterone to rise naturally, creating the perfect environment for erection's turn. Black pepper plays its part as well, boosting the absorption of curcumin by up to 8 times, ensuring that every sip delivers maximum effect. Charles began drinking golden milk about an hour before bed. He warmed almond milk, stirred in half a teaspoon of turmeric, and added just a dash of black pepper. At first he wasn't sure, but after a couple of weeks, he looked at me with a grin I'll never forget. "Doc, I don't know how else to say this. I woke up in the middle of the night with an erection so strong it startled me. My wife noticed too. She said I seemed like the man she married again. That moment wasn't just about the physical change, it was about a man regaining his dignity, his connection, and his joy." Golden milk isn't magic. It's nourishment. It quiets the body, lowers stress, opens the blood vessels, and supports the hormones that make a man feel alive. And while it may sound like a simple bedtime ritual, its effects on blood flow and testosterone can be life-changing. Still, as powerful as turmeric and black pepper are together, there's one more drink that has an even more direct effect on the very tissue of the penis itself. It repairs, it rebuilds, and it restores strength from the inside out. Let's talk about that next. Warm bone broth with gelatin 5. Warm bone broth with gelatin. I remember a man named William, a Vietnam veteran in his late 60s, who sat across from me one afternoon with a heavy look on his face. He told me quietly, "Doc, I feel like I've lost my edge. My body aches. My sleep is broken. And when it comes to intimacy, I can't perform like I used to. I don't want pills. I just want to feel strong again." There was a pause in his voice, a weight only a man who has carried his pride for decades would understand. That's when I introduced him to something simple, something almost forgotten in modern diets, yet profoundly powerful for men over 60. Warm bone. Broth with gelatin. Bone broth isn't glamorous. It doesn't come in a shiny package or promise instant results. But what it does offer is one of the most underrated nutrients for men's health: glycine. Glycine is an amino acid that acts like a natural signal to the body that it's time to rest, recover, and rebuild. When taken before bed, glycine lowers core body temperature just enough to encourage deep restorative sleep. And during that deep sleep, your body produces more testosterone and more growth hormone, the very fuels behind firm erections and muscle strength. But glycine doesn't stop there. It also stimulates collagen production, which keeps connective tissue strong and flexible. That matters for your joints, your skin, and yes, even your penis. Erections depend on healthy elastic tissue inside the corpora cavernosa, the chambers that fill with blood. When collagen weakens, those tissues lose their ability to expand fully, leading to softer erections. By rebuilding collagen from the inside, bone broth helps restore that youthful elasticity. William began drinking a warm cup of light bone broth about 30 minutes before bed. Within a week, he noticed his sleep was deeper. By the second week, his morning erections returned, surprising him with their firmness. And by the third week, he told me with a smile that carried both relief and pride, "Doc, my wife told me she hasn't seen me like this in years. It wasn't just his body that changed, it was his spirit. He walked taller, spoke with more energy, and carried himself like the man he had always been." This is the quiet power of bone broth. It nourishes the nervous system, repairs tissue, and supports the very mechanisms that create strong erections. It's not a quick fix, but a rebuilding process. One that works gently while you sleep night after night until your body remembers what it's capable of. And now that you've discovered all 5 of these powerful drinks, almond milk, chamomile tea, coconut, water, golden milk, and bone broth, let's bring it all together. Because knowing the drinks is one thing, but understanding how they transform your nights, your confidence, and your manhood is where the real story begins. Let's move into the conclusion. Conclusion. When I look back at the men I've treated over the years, one truth always stands out. It's never too late to take back your strength. Whether it was Robert with almond milk, Frank with chamomile tea, Henry with coconut water, Charles with golden milk, or William with bone broth. Each man found his way back to confidence, intimacy, and pride. These simple drinks are more than bedtime rituals. They are signals to your body that you're ready to heal, to rest, and to rise again with power. Tonight, make the choice. Your best nights and your strongest mornings are still ahead. All